Hello class! Today we are going to be continuing our foreground, middle ground, and background project. We are going to be drawing our landscape picture. So what we're going to do is I am going to be drawing first, and then after I draw a step, you will continue that step on your paper. I am going to be using a Sharpie marker today, but you are going to be using pencil. The reason I'm using a Sharpie marker is that so you can see what I am doing on the video from all the way from your spot. So we've already talked about foreground. Foreground is the part of the view that is closest to the observer. The middle ground is the middle distance in the picture, and the background is the area behind the main object usually. We've talked about how overlapping can show what's in the foreground, middle ground, or background, and so can size variation. They can play into where objects are sitting in a two-dimensional picture. So today, in our drawing, we are going to be starting with our horizon line. Now remember, horizon line is where the land meets the sky. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be going to the middle of our paper, and we are going to be maybe a little bit above the middle of our paper, and we are going to be drawing a line across the entire paper. Now notice my paper, which direction is it sitting? Right? It's sitting horizontally, not vertically, so make sure your paper is sitting the right direction. Draw your line across. My line is not perfect, and that is okay. It's the ground, and the ground is not a perfectly straight line. All right? Now we're going to be drawing some vertical lines in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the corner, and I'm going to draw a line that slants down all the way to the other side of my paper. I'm going to do that again. I'm going the other direction though. Now again, it's not a super straight line. I'm not making it curvy on purpose. I'm just drawing the line, and if it's not exactly straight, that is okay by me. And I'm going to do this one more time, another slant, and I want this one to go to the corner of my paper. Now it's not exactly in the corner, and that's okay. Alright, now what we are going to do is we are going to draw some trees. Now this is where the size variation comes into play. I'm going to start out in the front, and I'm going to draw a big tree. This one is going to sit right at the bottom of my paper. I'm going to start right at the bottom of my paper. I'm going to draw up and then curve it out just a little bit. Now, I'm overlapping these lines, and that's okay because we are going to be drawing in these trees really dark, so we will cover up those lines. I'm going to do the other side of my tree trunk. I'm giving about 2 finger spaces in between. I'm going to draw up, and then once I get to about the same level as this curve, I'm going to start curving the other direction. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's a tree, right? Trees are not perfect. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in between those 2 lines that I just drew. I'm going to draw a little V. Okay, that's going to be where our branches split. I'm deciding to take this line and curve it up. And in between there, I can draw another V. Maybe I want to continue that one off the page. And maybe this one I want to have another little branch coming off, so I'm going to curve it this way and have another little V in there. Okay. I'm going to do that to the other side as well. I think I'm going to have this one coming off this way so that I can add a V in between there. I'm going to have it go off the page, put my little V in. Maybe I want to have a little branch coming off this way, so I'm going to turn my line and add another little V. And I'm going to do the same thing for this branch. Add my little V. Remember, branches get smaller as they get further up the tree, right? Okay, now I am going to draw my second tree. I'm finished with this tree. I'm going to draw my second tree. I'm going to add it right over here in this first triangle area. So what I'm going to do is I am going to draw my trunk first, going up, and then I'm going to start to curve it out. Okay, now this is not sitting at the bottom of the paper anymore, right? It's going to be a little bit further back. And because this tree is further back, I want my tree to be a little bit smaller than my first one. So now I'm going to draw my trunk a little bit smaller than the first one. Okay. Now I'm going to add my V in the middle. And I'm going to do what I did to the first one, where I made my branches, I did my curves, and then I added my V's in there. So you don't have to make yours exactly like mine, because all trees are different. So you can add your branches wherever you want, and I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to do that. Now, notice over here, I decided to add another little branch in this area, and that's okay. I have the line going through there. That's okay because remember, we're going to be coloring our tree pretty dark, so our color will cover up any of those little mistakes that we made. Okay, now I'm going to be going on to my next tree. I'm going to make that tree in this section here that we created. It's a little bit further back, so that means I want this tree to be smaller than this one that I just created. So I have this one as the closest, it's the biggest tree. This one's going to be next, so it's a little bit smaller. Now I want to make this one even more small. So I'm going to make my little trunk and add my branches going back. Now, I stopped. The reason I stopped is because this tree is in front, right? So if this tree's in front, I want it to be, I don't want it to have this line go through it. It's going to be in front, so that means it's overlapping this tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish my trunk. These branches will come out this way. I'm going to make my little V. And anytime I get close to another tree that's in front, one that I've already drawn, I'm going to stop. Okay? And then I can go over that tree and continue my line wherever I want it to go. Okay? I'm going to do that for this one too. I'm going to follow over, and then I'm going to continue my line. I don't want to ever go over top of a tree that is in front of it. That will help us give the illusion of the smaller tree being behind the bigger tree. I'm continuing with my curves and my V's to make my branches of my trees. Okay, now I'm going to do one more tree back here, and this one's going to be the smallest one yet, and I want it to be in this last section. So I'm remembering overlapping and size. This tree is the farthest tree away, so I want it to be the smallest one that we're drawing. Okay, and I don't want to overlap these trees because this one's going to be behind all the rest of them. So I'm going to draw a little tree. It's just going to have a couple little branches coming off of it. We're gonna not overlap because I don't want this tree to look like it's in front of the other ones, because that would be silly. Maybe I want to have a little branch coming off this way. And then, okay, it's a little bit crazy. It kind of gets confusing back in there. So if you don't want to draw too many branches, that is okay by me. All right, so we have our tree that's the closest to us, our foreground tree, our middle ground trees, the ones in the middle. Now we're going to draw our background. Okay, so this is going to be the farthest thing away from us. Our background today is going to be some mountains. Okay, now I want to remember, I don't want to draw over top of my trees, because then if I do, my mountain's going to look like it's supposed to be in front, and we don't want it to be in front, we want it to be behind the trees. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in the middle with the middle mountain. I'm going to start right over here. I'm going to draw a line going up, and then I'm going to curve it back down. Don't want to go over top of my trees. I'm stopping, I'm going over my tree, and continuing down. There's my first mountain. I want one more on each side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start right about here, up the mountain just a little bit. I'm going to draw my line. I think I want this mountain to be just a little bit smaller than that first one. So I'm going to have it come down a little bit sooner than that first one did. And then I'm going to have it continue right off the page. And I'm going to have the other one be a little bit smaller as well, just because visually I think that will be the most appealing in my project. So I'm going to have it come up. Remember, I want to stop at those trees, jump over the lines, and then continue my mountain down, right off to the edge of the paper. Okay, so a little bit more fun to add into our mountains. We're going to add some white caps. So we're going to pretend like there's some snow up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some zigzag lines, and they don't have to be perfect. I just want it to look like there was some snow on top of the mountains. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And on my last one, this one you're going to barely be able to see because this tree is in the way mostly. So I'm just going to add just a little bit, maybe on the sides. Okay? So we have finished our drawing. Now we're going to start coloring, and I will get our video for how we are going to color this to make it look like it is 3D and these trees are overlapping and we have size variation and perspective. So I will get that video pulled up for you.